Hey guys, I'm joined here by Sugi from the Knights of Ren.
Hey!
How are you doing?
I am doing very, very well. I'm glad it's over.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Definitely a feeling of relief after, no more stress.
Yeah.
You've done your job. Just move on.
Yeah.
So, what deck did you play and why did you pick it?
So, I built a new variant on mill decks. I call it Toolbox Mill. I guess technically Rick and Todd built it a long time ago. They just didn't like how it played. So, it's double Jar Jar, double Yoda, and a Rose. And the crux of the deck is doing a lot of shenanigans utilizing the graveyard. So something that makes Sabine incredibly potent is her ability to essentially reanimate cards out of her graveyard. So her 5-card hand turns into a 5-card hand plus whatever's in the graveyard.
Right.
So I believe I did an interview with Desmond Brody, and he took his regional with Yoda Hondo, and his blowout cards were Impulsive and Rebel. So after the interview, we actually talked about Rebel for like 20 minutes, and I just got super excited about that card because I play like Black Reanimator and Magic the Gathering. So essentially it's the same thing. Rebel is a 1-cost event that basically says if you're showing a discard, you can pull a card out of your grave at 1 discount. So you can pull out events, you can pull out upgrades, supports, whatever you need. And you get to keep the die on the table, which is rare. Most cards force you to sacrifice the die and then use the card. So I can pressure my opponents with like a scruffy looking Nerf herder from the graveyard, and then as my next action, blow a card out of their hand knowing what they have. The big play is realistically using Vandalize. So early game you want to Vandalize their dice, well their die cards, so their big plays are looking at a thing like Vibro Knife, Ancient Saber, your Maul Saber, stuff like that, because you can sacrifice your Jar Jar dice and your Rose dice. It's not super impactful, and then you use Yoda to get a lot of stuff going. And then with Rebel, people don't expect it because nobody plays it. So I went 3-3. The first 3 games, the deck was on fire, and it was insane because I hit Vandalize both turns 1 and 2 in every game, and I had a Rebel. And every single game, I Vandalized 3 times and just crushed my opponent from all their upgrades and denied them for the whole game. So that's what the deck is supposed to do. It's upgrade denial early game, and then if you need outs, my 5th game, which I should have won, but I made a critical mistake with math. I used emergency evacuation twice on Rayla, and I ate 6 dice the first time and 8 dice the second time. And those were just huge blowout plays, like gratuitous. I mean, like 4 resources for that many dice, or 8, it saved my life. So I mean, like that's the beauty of the toolbox deck is, when you have a toolbox, you have tools for every situation. And so this mill deck is meant to handle any specific situation, except surprisingly counter mill, like hard mill, like regular Rainbow and Recon. Those are like really bad matchups for me, just because they will mill me faster because I'm kitted out to like stall, remove, and progressively win by attrition.
Makes sense. Yeah, definitely. If you can Vandalize early on, and you look at removing a die that would have been rolled 6 turns throughout the game.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth it. So if you were to say anything to somebody who's not at Worlds about why this should be here next year, if at all possible, what would you say?
So I bring a lot of different styles of play into the way I play any game. So I've played a lot of Magic, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. I love Netrunner. And every single game I try and find what's called mid-range control, where early game I'm setting up, and then once we get past like turn 2 or 3, you basically get to do nothing, and then I just lock you out. So if that's resource denial, upgrade denial, card denial, basically if there's ever a card, like next year if they print more denial cards that lets me as a player take your stuff from you, that's what I'm going to do. So if I were to, the reason why I would tell players like this is a viable deck, it gives you like the most flexibility of any deck on the market. Like you can literally do anything you want. The complication with that is you have to understand when you need to do what you need to do, because the deck will offer you a plethora of options, but you have to figure out which one of those is the right path. And making a critical mistake will lose you the game, because now you've invested a lot of resources in very expensive cards, and it's hard to kind of pull back from going down the wrong tree. So like the fun of it is it's really complex, it's a lot of fun, it rewards high skill and high complex understanding of what's presented to you. But if you make like any mistakes, and I'm not even joking, you make like one mistake, like, you lose the game, just because of how it's an unforgiving deck.
Yeah,
it's very unforgiving.
So final bonus question.
Yeah.
Pictured amongst the power action tokens for the top 8 players, there's a General Leia. Like it looks like the old Leia from the new movies.
Yeah.
So you have to design a Leia right now in like 20 seconds for old Leia for Destiny.
Old Leia. Oh, like General Leia?
Yeah.
Like the card?
Yeah, like if
The whole
it's coming out in set 5, design the card that it's going to be.
Okay, I'm good. I got it. So she's 10 health. We'll say 11, 13. She has 1 focus, 2 focus, 1 discard, 2 discard, a resource, and a blank. And you want a power action or a regular?
Yeah, she has to have a power action.
So she would have a power action. You can discard a card from your hand and mill that many cards from your opponent's deck equal to the casting cost in resources.
Wow! Wait, so if I have a Falcon in my hand, I can discard all 5 cards?
Yep.
Oof. Sounds nasty. This is when I bring them out uncard play. It's like, I'm just going to eat your hand because there's no other way.
But the downside of that is kind of like Mama Talzin. If you front load your deck with a lot of expensive cards, she doesn't really make money. So you're going to have to either build around it, or it's only going to be like once in a few times.
Yeah.
Because Mama Talzin's great because she's fair and unfair at the same time. Like, you have all these odd cards, but you don't have access to some of the best removal in the game that's at 0. So if you did that with Leia, it's the same thing. Like, you could pitch Falcons all day long, eat their hand, but if she's dead by turn 2, now you have a Falcon you probably don't want to play, and you don't have the resources to play it. So it's a high-risk, high-reward kind of thing.
Yeah, well, you heard it here first, guys. We're going to have General Leia, the 13 points character, who discards your entire hand. Please no. Please no. Well, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.